Hello, it's me, Jess. I am here with a bit of a strange one, okay? I've been sort of channeling a reading all morning, and I've noticed this, that whenever I'm like just taking time off and my energy is totally relaxed and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have like a day, that is when the messages just really start flowing in, and boy, do I have a doozy for you here, okay? Now, this message that is coming through me is out there, okay? This makes me, I'm not really. It's not that I don't think that there are things that are buried and hidden in our world. I think that we're all kind of slowly awakening to the fact that there are some really horrible, horrible things that go on in our world. It's not that. I'm just not really like a conspiracy theory girl or a conspiracy theory type person. But what I have to bring here to you today is kind of hidden, or it's buried. The word occult is really coming to mind. And the message that's coming through, it's a descriptor of what has happened to you over the course of your life, things that you cannot account for, things that you have been very shocked by, in order to make you whole again, is what I'm hearing. This is your birthright, and I'm just hearing the word benevolence, and it feels like a mirroring energy, to restore the improper mirroring that you have gotten. And this feels like a treatment. But it feels all pervasive, like some of the ways that you've been mirrored back to yourself, the ways that you've been spoken to, the decisions that people have made around you have all been an injustice upon the universe, is what I'm hearing. Now, I'm not saying that nobody's ever been nice to you in your life. I'm just saying that there are certain key, like hornet's nests, that some of you, unbeknownst to you, have been like plopped into the center of. Now, for a lot of you, this is family systems, but this also could be work environments. This could be friend groups. Take this however it resonates, but I'm just hearing things are not always as they seem. And I feel like this was a major, major soul lesson here for this group that's been called in to watch this particular reading, because I'm getting that you're kind of like a hypersensitive person. And while that might sound like you get dialed in really easy, sometimes it means that you can't exactly pay so much attention because you're overstimulated, or you're just picking up on a lot, or whatever emotion, especially if it's an intense emotion. And I'm hearing this was on a spiritual, energetic level, actually leveraged against you in order to hurt you, kind of burying you under these like really intense emotions that were kind of levied at you. And again, you couldn't figure out why, because it defied karmic law. It defied karmic law. You know that the treatment that you had or something, it was not reflective of you, of the karmas that you have built up for yourself. You know that. You knew that. Okay, so I think some of you have been like in a haze trying to figure out like, okay, what exactly is going on here? But on some deeper visceral level, you knew that there was injustices occurring in regards of your treatment and the way that things were kind of like unfolding around you. And this is to come in and explain why, okay? And so only take, of course, like whatever is resonating, but I'm hearing a lot of you have called this message forth through me here today, in order to get the answers that you so seek, okay? So this is kind of piggybacking off of the general message that came through in the last live stream that we did, and I don't even remember what that live stream was. Kudos from the universe. Okay, so this is kind of like the biggest kudos of all I'm getting coming in here from the universe. But the general message was basically revealing the fact that you had been lied upon or maligned in some way. And I'm hearing like your character, it was like a character assassination or a defamation. People lied on you, or and it feels like multiple people, but this doesn't have to all be around like the same situation. Take this however it resonates for your life. Like this could just be a treatment that you have. And I'm hearing truth teller. And a lot of you know when you grow up in narcissistic family systems, and then when that is unhealed in you, and so then you kind of like are repeating that in like your work environment, that feels kind of like a normal treatment. Truth tellers are silenced. They will figure out a way to silence you, to malign you, to defame you. And that is exactly what went on here in this situation, to whatever degree, okay? Because for some of you, it's like a lesser degree. For some of you, it's a greater degree. But I think this has maybe been a repeat experience, like 2 or 3 like major times, or so. Like you've experienced this in your life, if this is your message that is coming through here for you today. Oh, there's so much energy coming here. I'm just hearing applause. You've never not been watched is what I'm hearing, like from a spiritual kind of a level. But back to the message, you had been maligned in some way. Somebody here, I'm hearing they told a bold-faced, cutthroat lie on you. And just like I was saying in that other reading, it really was because they didn't want you to expose them for the truth of who they are. Okay? Now, I'm going to tie this to past lives in a second, but there's a significance to this here in this life as well, because I've said this in other readings where it's very, very obvious in terms of like, especially an energetic level of who you are and who this person is. Like just your energy signature, just being around you feels a certain way, and being around this other person. Like I'm just getting things like smarm, or this person has like very dense, very low vibrational energy. It's like you kind of know that this is the type of a person who would lie for either because they're smarmy or because they're selfish or because they're underhanded or because they don't have like morals or something. Like it's known that you are this kind of a way and this person is this kind of way. It's undeniable on an energetic level. Now, I think this is a mirrored lesson between yourself and anybody that fell prey to like this whole lying, flying monkey charade, whatever this was, is I think this mirrors your energy because remember I was saying that you're very sensitive. Now, you're energetically sensitive, like intuitively sensitive, okay? And this is the language of God. And I'm hearing angelic, like there's something angelic, like the angelic realms or something that this is the language of God and you speak it, or like you can pick up on it, something here like that. But you also read the language of the body really well because of, I'm hearing like the ABUSE that you have suffered. You read the language of the body very well. So this is things like being very hypervigilant, like you're very dialed in to body language or like little motions or something. So you do pay a lot of attention, unbeknownst to you, like to people's facial expression or how it is that they're showing up. So this person who lied on you, okay, I'm getting, this is like kind of a part of their smarminess or like their lie that they have because this person is underhanded, okay? But they're this destroyer energy. This came through in another reading. It was pile number 1 in Secrets and Lies. This is like the destroyer energy that I'm picking up on, the really negative, densely negative energy, okay? But this person doesn't come off that way in terms of their body language. They smile. I'm hearing FAB, fake ass B words, that song by JoJo and Remy Ma. They smile in your face, but behind you it ain't well wishes. So you, this is something that you're kind of learning is I think that your energy was telling you one thing, like your intuition about who this person was and the fact they smile in your face, but behind you it ain't well wishes. So you picked up on that energetically, but I think you were overriding it because this person was smiling or this person was pretending to be your friend or this person was saying one thing to you. They're two-faced. They were saying one thing to you and then they were saying one thing to another person. So they were trying to, I'm hearing, disguise. This person's entire MO, their entire personality, the way that they navigate through the world is through like disguise and trying to cover their tracks. And that's what they were trying to do with you because you are believable is what I'm hearing. You are a good person. You are very clearly good is what I'm hearing. And people would have believed you if you were allowed to just reflect your truth or say your truth. So that had to be stopped. Okay. And I'm hearing they told a bold-faced, cutthroat lie on you. And this does link back to past lifetimes. And I'm going to tie this into a spiritual significance later on here in the video as to why this links back to past lives, okay? This is something that you are to be made aware of at this time in order for you to switch the frame, switch the perspective as to how you're viewing this whole situation and yourself and your role in it, in order for you to take the reins of your own life and to heal. It's very, very important that this message reaches you here at this time. For those of you, this message is, I'm hearing for those of you with ears to hear and eyes to see, and also for those of you, yeah, it's like they're showing me that they're wiping away the soot, like from your eyes. And you were kind of, in a way that not having the clarity on this situation beforehand was protection. It was psychic, like protecting your psyche, protecting your heart. It was protecting you in some way so that you could get up and out and away and on your feet and recovered in a more physical kind of a sense, okay? So like I said, this ties into past lives where I feel like this person literally, your throat. Okay, literally. And they may have snuck up behind you to do this because, and I don't know if this is just the metaphor that I'm getting, but I've picked up on that message enough in readings to know, like, I feel like this person betrayed you in a past life, right? I feel like this person ended you. And it could have been because of a relationship that you have with another person, but it was because of all those things that I just mentioned, who you are, the fact that you had some kind of dirt on them, and that if you were to just be left unchallenged and just be left alone and just be left to be who you are and not tampered with in any way, that people would have been outraged, I'm hearing, like by your treatment, people would have stuck up for you, okay? But this is a test. This is a spiritual test, okay? So you weren't left alone. You were tampered with in some way by this individual. I think a lot behind your back. I think that you were defamed. I think that you were mischaracterized. And I think there were at least one bold-faced lie told in order to try and, it was very calculated in order to tip how certain people were thinking about you. And I'm seeing the 8 of Swords here. So this could have been like a particular message. Somebody could have tried to manufacture text messages that were not actually like real or something. I don't know. But this could have been like somehow reinforced. And I'm hearing if you tell a lie enough times, people will just accept it in their mind as truth. So there could have been something here like this. Now, Spirit is saying you are not to concern yourself with whatever these lies are because they are known as lies now. Or there has been a chain of events put into effect to make very clear that to unearth certain things about this individual or about the situation or about you. It doesn't necessarily, your well-being, your psychological well-being is taken into the utmost of consideration in this, but this person has been outed or ousted. I'm hearing the word ousted. They've been ousted as the liar that they are. They've been unmasked here in some way, shape, or form. That will already happen. This is why this message is coming out, because it's already kind of been done and dusted. Like there's some kind of situation here that it's like they're wrapping it up with a bow. Nothing more needs to be done. This situation will play out to where all of these people are going to have to pay for the lies that they were either complicit in, or the lies that they told or fostered, or that their lack of action or their secrecy or their complicity has like kept buried and hidden. So like I was saying, in a past life, I do feel like this person, you throat. Now this is very symbolic, okay? Because this person A was trying to silence you. This is throat chakra energy. They could have also been trying to knock your self-esteem here in some way. But also, like I'm seeing the dagger, that's a symbol of betrayal. And, when they say like when that occurs, it's because somebody wants to make sure that somebody is gone, right? They needed to make sure. So in this life, this is some kind of defamation or some kind of gossip, right? So it's a less extreme version of whatever was going on here in the past life, because I think it was actually like, ending someone in a past life. But the symbolism of the way that it was done in the past, like that's all playing out in this lifetime. But it shows, I'm hearing the desperation to silence you. They needed to silence you. But not only that, this lie that was a betrayal, full-faced betrayal, I'm seeing like the blood energy, right? Like leaving the body and falling into the soil. But blood energy is of the water element, and the water element is spirituality. It is our family, our community, our loved ones. So it was meant to sever you, isolate you from your loved ones, and it was meant to just bury the bones in the closet. Like that's really what it was designed to do. But in this lifetime, it took the form of some kind of like defamation or gossip or something like that. Now, this is a part of the spiritual test, okay? Because here's who you are. You're the golden ticket. You are the golden ticket, because this is a time of divine judgment where things are being unearthed, but also the earth is tipping over into the age of Aquarius. And we all have heard that so many times. The age of Aquarius is meant to be a golden age, but that means that there's a reckoning going on with the things that occurred during the Kali Yuga, right? The dark times of humanity where things were buried and hidden in ignorance. And that is all going on. And I don't know why I didn't put this together before, but there's a huge scale of masculine testing that's been going on here. And I've talked about that several times on my channel. And I do just want to say, like, I think I've been picking up on like different pieces of this. It's been like illuminated for me in my readings, and then it's kind of all coming together now. And I feel like that mirrors an experience like on different levels, on different scales, on a collective scale. I feel like for you, you're starting to sort of piece things together. Other people involved in the situation are starting to, oh my gosh, like this is who I'm involved with. This is what was going on. All of that is kind of like coming to light. And keep in mind, this doesn't have to be some crazy dramatic thing. This could be infighting within like a family group, and you were lied upon so that a narcissist could run their toxic game, and they could malign you in order to not be held accountable for their actions, and in order to reap whatever supply they wanted to reap from your family. So again, take this on scale, okay? But for some of you, this is flat out criminal, like some of the things that have happened to you. And again, somebody here could be going and speaking to the proper authorities to make sure that, whoever is needing to be held accountable in this is being held accountable. And that brings me to the next part of like this masculine test that's going on, right? Because the masculine test, we talked about this, and this can happen to keep in mind, when I say masculine and feminine, I'm in the realm of energy. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. If I mean male or female, I'll say male or female, okay? But this is a masculine test, and this is one of the notoriously most difficult places in the zodiac. It is the height of Jupiter. Guess what place that is? That's Purvabhadra, right on the cusp between Aquarius and Pisces. Now we're moving from the age of Pisces, and we're back it up, back, because that's the ages for whatever, like goes in the opposite direction, right? So we're backing it up into Aquarius. It's a whole thing that I don't want to get off track, like talking about why that is, but we're backing up into the age of Aquarius. So we're backing up over that cusp. That is the cusp of Purvabhadra, the height of Jupiter, the masculinity test. The archetype of that is somebody like, first of all, there's a spiritualist involved, which I think is you. But it's Jesus on the mount being tested by the devil. And I get that energy so much. But this is going on a scale that I don't think I can quite fathom. But it's like going on in pockets, like in our world. It seems isolated. It seems like it's just, it's going on within your family. Or it's going on within this particular work environment. But this is something that is going on. This is a testing period. It's going on. And part of it, again, that's why it was suppressed and like isolated, because I'm seeing somebody walk by a classroom with one of those signs on it that says like, shh, testing in progress. They were being isolated because shh, testing in progress. So the variables had to be kept like very, very tight in order to mirror back what somebody was going to do in certain situations. Does that make sense? So you are the golden ticket. You are this kind of like divine being. I'm hearing you are the peace offering from God. You literally are. And I don't mean that in an arrogant, egotistical way. I don't think that the people who this message is for would even take it in an arrogant, egotistical way. I think your energy, some of you, I'm feeling like you might feel humiliated or you might feel exhausted, like from things that you might feel isolated. Like you're not feeling like rah, rah, like yay. I think you're tired, and I think that you need the energy to flip, and it has. And I'm seeing Gandalf from Lord of the Rings where he is like the turn of the tide or something, like the tide has officially turned here in the dark age to moving into the golden age, from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. The tide is officially turned, okay? And it's just amazing that we're dealing with these energies because Jupiter is a leader. It's somebody who amasses resources. It can also be a teacher, some kind of guidance system that was kind of coming in. And I'm hearing Jesus was this. So Jesus, Jesus's death marks the beginning of Pisces, whether you believe he was a real person or whether it was just like the stories, right? That was wisdom meant to infuse in the age of Pisces. Jesus was the son of God, right? The masculine energy come to bring a philosophy. Jupiter is that, right? Can be a religious leader, but also again, like they amass resources and certain things like that. So that was corrupted in the age of Pisces, but all of it's important that energy is so pervasive in our world. The teachings of Jesus, no matter how corrupt they've been, the essence of them, I'm hearing, has remained. The essence of Jesus has kind of remained intact, even though there's corruption around it. The essence of Jesus has remained intact. So there has been teaching that to males in particular, of how they know how they're supposed to be. So they can hold these people to a certain rubric, to a certain standard. That was very intentional. Now we're entering the age of Aquarius, and now it is the daughters of, I'm hearing the daughters of Ra. Like Ra is like the sun god, right? But that have come in. So you are this beacon, right? You are this golden ticket. And because we play for the good guys, okay? The good guys, they never break their own code. They never break the rules. They don't bend the rules. It's never this outside like influence. You'll come up within natural law. If that makes sense, or you will follow the rules of the system in order to fight fair. And so the dark side, the side that we are not a part of, they don't have any rules. And they try to scheme around. And again, I've talked about this a lot. It's the spiritual side is the ends and the means are one. You understand that the actions you take are intimately intertwined with the way that things end up. Even if it's a slow, long arc, you understand that you reap what you sow. But the darker side of things is the ends justifies the means. So this is scheming around. This is, I'm going to screw somebody over here in order to get the promotion or get the girl or get the guy or get whatever it is that I want. That's being of the devil energy, really. That taking the short-term satisfaction, and truly it's a lack of wisdom and not understanding that. But they look at people who follow a code of conduct, they look at it as weakness, but they're about to be shown that it's not weakness. So you went in and you cloaked your energy. Now here's what I'm getting, okay? Because I feel like you're meant to shift over to having this more spiritual perspective of understanding exactly what's going on, the correct frame. Because some of you, maybe you thought that you were weak, or you thought that you deserved something and you didn't. So they're wanting you to see this through a spiritual lens. They're wanting you to see this through spiritual eyes, that you are actually the most courageous one. You are actually the strongest one. You are actually the most deserving. And I'm hearing that's why they put you in this situation, because there are different tiers of people who have fallen to darkness and fallen into ignorance and poor behavior. There's different levels of these people. But what is obvious to these people is, regardless of what bullshit was run here on your name, you are the most deserving person of a conversation, of a check-in, of something like that. And I can see whoever tried to like silence you by degrading you behind the scenes, by giving people the impression that you were somebody that you weren't, or that you did something that you didn't do, or in a spirit that you didn't have, or, something like that. Whatever was going on here, it was meant to silence you. And it could have been because it's like something like so embarrassing, you don't want to bring that up to another person because you don't want to offend them. So it could have been that, or it could have been I don't know. But whatever lie was told here was meant, it's busting up Libran energy, okay? So take that how it resonates. It was meant to tear down a relationship, to put blockages and obstacles up between a relationship, again, we've seen this, soulmates. And that would be the person who's the lowest level of messed up in whoever they were meant to flip, is what I'm hearing. This was a very strong test for that person of where their allegiance is, because they're not totally corrupted. But I think this person has been shown their future and shown people around them that's like, that's the path that you're going down. Is that the path? Is that who you want to be? Right? So you represented that turning point. That was their masculinity test. Again, regardless of if you're dealing with a male or a female, that was that person's masculinity test. So again, it could have been blocking a conversation. It could have been blocking a relationship, some kind of diplomatic activity, some kind of balancing out, some kind of legal repercussion that should have happened because somebody withheld information and you should have been able to challenge something in court or whatever. But some kind of Libran getting along relational energy was actively blocked. And that was the intention of it. And it could have even been like somebody who was lying on you was telling other people that you didn't care about them, so they were like, well, why reach out because that person doesn't care about me or something like that. But I'm telling you, there was some sort of lie or some kind of lie that was told. And this could have involved a group, but I think for some of you, it was just like a lie that was maybe repeated or something, something that was going on here. And so, like I said, this is all because you are the golden ticket. These people need to change their ways. They need to change their behavior. A lot of them need to stand up to what bullies them. This feeling of inadequacy, this feeling of not being enough, something that corrupts them into low life behavior, negative low behavior. And I'm also hearing it's a huge injustice on the world that you would ever have been compared unfavorably to like this person who lied upon you or somebody else, like that you were potentially pitted into competition with. Oh, that's why they're showing me the blockage of Libra too. It's like there was no cooperative action. It was just competitive action. And you could have been targeted because you're a truth teller or because of your light. There's something here because of your light and maybe because of a relationship here or something like that in order to be maligned, in order to give somebody, I don't know, like a promotion or to be looked at in a certain way or I don't know, but you in some way, shape or form, energetically, and I don't mean this in a weird way, so take this how it resonates, but you were the sacrifice. Like somebody had to sacrifice your well-being, how they felt like you felt in the situation, something like that. It's incredibly selfish, which again, that's why it's a masculine test. So there's masculine tests going on here. And I can see that there's people potentially like could be hierarchy even in narcissistic family systems. There's a lot of times like a hierarchy, it's like there's a toxic parent and nobody challenges them, but you have like the favorite and you have whatever. So it's like meant to kind of shake up these systems of like, are you going to do what's right in the face of this? If not, you reap what you sow. And that's where I'm saying your energy here is Jesha Devi. And we get Jesha energy all the time on my channel. First of all, Jesha can imply a womanizer. And it can imply the height of the world. Again, we have more of this devil tempting Jesus in the desert kind of symbolism that is like known for that masculinity test, right? And this has to do with the way I'm hearing, we'll get into that here in just a second. I want you to understand the spiritual significance of this. So you could have been dealing with somebody here like that, or that's what they were tempted with. Is some kind of position or rise or status or money or women or partners. Like take that however it resonates with you. Okay, so there's that. But Jesha Devi, I think this is you, like the female kind of version of Jesha Devi is the elder sister. And that is significant. I've been reading like the Mahatma letters, and Mahatma, of course, means great soul, but they call themselves our elder brothers. So they are enlightened beings, but they are human, and they make damn well known that they're human. They are just a couple of steps ahead of us in terms of like their enlightenment process. So, and Jesus wanted this too, in my opinion. They want you to understand that everything that they've achieved and everything that they are capable of, you are also capable of. But like I said, in this regard with Jesha Devi, we're talking about elder sister energy. So I think these are feminine energies that are enlightened. But in the Kali Yuga, the mythology around Jesha Devi is that her energy is cloaked. You cannot see Jesha Devi in the Kali Yuga for everything that she is. Okay, so her energy is cloaked. She can get taken for granted. She can be overworked. She doesn't get the credit or the respect that she deserves. This is, I feel like, you in regard of this, whatever was going on around you potentially for a long period of time in your life. This could have been a repeated experience, right? And that is very much by design. Now, it is said the way that a person interacts with Jesha Devi, or where this energy comes through in the world, a way a person interacts with that seals their fate. And that is what's going on here. I'm telling you, there's some kind of spiritual test. It has to do with the golden age. It has to do with sending these demons back from whence they came, is what I'm hearing. For some, and I want to talk about that later, okay? I'm not a person to speak like that, but like sending literally these literal actual demons back from the depths from which they came. And also with these other souls, it's like they're sealing their fate for the ways that there's been a chain of events put into motion where these people cannot escape the karmas, like the consequences of their actions. Like that so much is clear because you are Jesha Devi, and the way that they treated you either seals their good fortune or it seals their poor fortune. however this has gone on here between these people. And so that is the nature of things. Now, they're saying this was always sort of prophesied, that the coming of Jesus, right? But Jesus, like the coming back of Jesus, like, right, of the Christ energy. So everybody thinks that that's going to be like a person, like an actual person, but it's Christ consciousness. It's Christ energy, which is coming in through these elder sisters. It's coming in through these, and not all of them are women, but it's coming in through this feminine energy that is like creative and it's cooperative. And a lot of times it's females that are, again, this Jesha Devi energy. They do a lot of work. They pick up a lot of slack. They don't get the respect that they're deserved. They're treated as subhuman. They're treated as pawns, and people dump their baggage, right? But that's the energy that the Christ consciousness is coming back into this world in full force. Now, they're telling me that there's energies that watch over this planet of both like the light variety and also the dark variety. There's kind of like I think a lot of us kind of sense this. There is this kind of struggle between the dark and the light, between like good and evil, if you want to like kind of be reductionist in the way that you're looking at it, just to not complicate what I'm trying to speak about here, right? That there is that. And they say that spiritual war goes across the heart of every human. And that's where this test, it's like playing out like within each of our hearts, okay? But they're saying that they kind of pulled one over on the negative entities that wish to kind of keep hold of the planet. They sort of pulled one over because it was expected that there was going to be some kind of like influx of higher vibrational energies. We've all heard of like the 144,000 of the Jehovah's Witnesses and things like that. That was expected to come in right at the turn of the tide, right at the changing over of the age of Aquarius. They were going to be targeted. Like individuals, as they came in, they were going to be, you can't disguise like a very powerfully lit individual or powerfully lit human being, and also somebody who's never been here before. So if they tried to get higher vibrational, or somebody who's already wrapped up their karmas here, that's all going to ping, like it's going to be seen like on some kind of spiritual level. And I'm hearing some energies did come in that way in order to kind of draw eyesight, or to draw fire is what I'm hearing. These people could be in the public eye, be celebrities, they're very strong souls, and they may have been through a lot, but yeah, I'm seeing some people in my mind. I'm not going to say who it is, but it might be apparent to you if you just kind of think about it. They are kind of drawing that attention because that was expected, okay? But what they didn't expect was, I'm hearing, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, but these are his daughters. For God so loved the world. So these daughters have been incarnating during the Kali Yuga, and that was not expected. Through the darkest time of human history, these people. So this is why when I read, I pick up on past life energies, is because you literally did it the right way. Remember what I was saying is like this, the good side, the good guys, spirit, God, whatever, never breaks natural law, because God is natural law. At the heart of it, God is natural law. This is all a system. When we interact here in this place, we are interacting with the energies of God, okay, which are broad, right? So I'm saying we, because I feel a part of this too, but like we submitted ourselves to the rule here, to natural law. And you came in and you're the golden ticket for certain souls to redeem. That's what I'm hearing. To redeem themselves through the way that they interact with you, to see the light. And they need to see the light in you before they can connect with the light in themselves. And this will turn the tide for them individually. Even just karmically speaking, where they'll have the wind at their back. These people that they're afraid to stand up to or whatever, these, it will change the way that their lives unfold. They will have more spiritual help if they help you. You are the golden ticket in which they can potentially redeem themselves. But you came in the Kali Yuga. So when I see that you have experienced like violent deaths or something like that, I mean, they thought that this was going to play out in one lifetime. No. You actually built up karma here. And so you can pull those karmic cords due. And that's what they're doing, is they're showing me like Tai Chi. And I've picked up on this before too. Like, when somebody's coming at you with a blow and you learn how to fold and like work with like the energy, that's what's going on here, is you're working within the system. It's not just you and like, okay, these are divine beings that came down here to incarnate and they have that and they're just the great man theory of history. Like that's the way that the darker mindedness kind of thinks. It's like great man theory of history or power. They thought that they were going to be rivaled head to head, like with masculinity, but as narcissists usually do. And this is like an incredible sense of selfishness that is brought about by a sense of inferiority. This is like an inferiority complex that presents as a superiority complex here, like in these people. They're desperate to kind of manufacture their own superiority because they're weak as hell, like on the inside. I'm talking about spiritual weakness. Yeah, they can lift weights, they can achieve power in society. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, it is an incredible anemia and weakness of spirit to allow yourself to fall so greatly, right? That's what I'm talking about. So these people, they are having to confront their own weaknesses. And as narcissists usually do, as I was saying, they become the cause of their own demise because they lack wisdom. They are not farsighted. They do have a cunning. They do have a strategy. They don't have deep insight into other people because they don't have deep insight into themselves. And narcissists, it's a disease of the ego, and the ego operates on defense mechanisms, which basically it's blocking itself from truth. God is truth. These are anti-God, anti-Christ energies that are here block from the truth of who they are, the truth of what they've done. They are unable to self-reflect. They are unable to hold themselves accountable. And there are forces and a chain of events. Like, this is very karmic. It's coming through God energy. God saying, I don't break my own rules. Like, I'm hearing Jenga. Like, I'm seeing a big tower be built up that's hollowed out from the inside out. They were expecting some kind of something here appears stronger than it actually is, okay, but it's decrepit. It's falling from within is what I'm hearing. Because there is no, they have no energetic legs to stand on. Karmically speaking, they are the weaker force. They are just going to be toppled is what I'm getting. And it's from the inside, but it just is going to look like a single that just takes it over. They think they've been winning. These people are ignorant. They think they've been winning is what I'm getting. They think they've been winning. And so I'm hearing pride comes before a fall, arrogance comes before a fall. They also have an incorrect definition of winning and incorrect definition of success, of one competition. And every spiritual teacher who has come here, who is a genuine spiritual teacher, a genuine soul who genuinely gets it, says it's all of us or none of us. So these energies that are these Devis that have been kind of placed around the world in their corrupt family systems, their corrupt work environments, whatever is going on here, these are the lights. These are the acolytes. I have gotten that message too. The acolytes, the small lights of God that will grow, that will continue to grow. But this is not into a bonfire. There is a purifying effect that's going on. But they're showing me a fire encased in a lantern where you can see that spark. And the warmth is going to grow, but it's not in danger of harming, right? It's not in danger of harming. Now is where I want to get into talking about the demons, sending the demons back from whence they came, right? Okay. Because they're showing me this hierarchy. I'm getting the sense that somebody here has head to head rivaled you, whether you could see them or not. Okay. Somebody here has targeted you in some way or harmed you irrevocably. There's no taking back what this person said. There's no taking back what this person did. Okay. That person is unsalvageable. That person's not even on the chopping block or something. They have not received their karma in order to play their part in the unfolding events here of this time. Okay. But that person is negative. That's nasty. That's a demon is what I'm hearing. That person is they're going to be sent back from whence they came. But then there's people here along a chain of command or that are flying monkeys to this person that are of different levels of consciousness. And some of them, they're split, and I've picked up on this energy, and I think these are the kinds of people that you guys come here asking about because you know that they're a soulmate of yours. And it reminds me of something that I said in another reading. What evil is it that turns the thorn against the rose it is sworn to protect? This is the kind of corrupting evil that we have been dealing with here in our society. And it turns the thorn against the rose it is sworn to protect. The rose needs the thorn. The thorn is its way of defending itself. So this could be on a psychological level, this inappropriate mirroring or doing something in a way that made you internalize it and feel like you were wrong or that it was your fault. You're letting go of all of that now. So rituals of cord cutting, also rituals of giving back people's energy, because there is something energetic. There's an energy transfer that has been going on because of your involvement with these people. And so part of calling back your power as well is when you no longer see these people as redeemable. Because when you came in here being the golden ticket, you were asked to come here, by the way. Spirit pushed you in here, spirit moved you in here in some way. You are one with spirit is just what I'm getting. So you didn't do this for your own karmas. You didn't do this for your own, praise or anything. You literally are a channel. You're working on behalf of God. Anything that somebody owes to you, you're going, you owe it to God. You need to make right with God. Okay. And I'm hearing this person will be brought to their knees, but it's not in front of you. I'm seeing I'm seeing the 144,000, the good people, standing behind the throne of God. And it's yes, they need to be brought to their knees because they owe me karmas, but all my karmas are like for God. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like they need to make right with like, this is way above you. It's way above your pay grade, okay? So like I was saying, these souls have like different levels of awareness, different things that they need to confront within themselves. And it's all Libran. It's like their levels of cooperation, the conversations that they're having, the relationships that they engage with, the choices that they're making in their life, the diplomatic, the listening and the all of that, you know, who they're doing that with, who they're not doing that with. Again, I just want to say it's a huge injustice that some of these people were engaging with other people, nasty people, horrific people in that Libran way, giving them the benefit of the doubt when it's obvious they should have been doing that to you. But instead they judged you. They shut down on you. They had to whatever, right? In order to like whatever. So I want to get into like, again, sending these demons back from whence they came. You know the story of Bhava? Like he is a Buddhist, like, I don't know what you would call him, like saint or high-ranking being. And he went across the countryside in order to convert the demons into protectors of the dharma, into protectors of like the sacred texts and the wisdom traditions. They needed to flip, or he was sending them back from whence they came. He had the power and ability to do this, right? They needed to flip and become protectors of the dharma. The dharma lives within women and children, is what I'm hearing, in this lifetime. That's where they've put it. It's in the innocent. It is, and I'm hearing any man who is actually a man would always defend the innocent. Yeah, this is a part of the masculine test of like, really, you're gonna like, men have traditionally fought and died to protect like women and children and the innocents, but these are men who, I'm getting a strong masculine energy. It doesn't have to be men. Even, okay, because they're showing me a mix in, like, when I'm saying females, like, or feminine energy, like, some of them have incarnated as men, but when I'm saying this, like, masculine energy, some of them have incarnated as, like, women, but there's this, it's Mars and Venus is what I'm getting. It's, like, this competitive, corrosive, selfish, karmic, battling energy, sexual energy, power energy, hierarchical energy, right? It's that energy that, and then the energy of Venus not being a soldier, you know, living through love and cooperation and relationships and creativity and arts and peace and, you know, harmony and all of that stuff. And I'm not making a comment on all women are good and all men are bad. That's not what I mean. I'm trying my best to describe the nuance, but this is for people with ears to hear and eyes to see. So the choice that stands before some of these people is they need to flip and they need to become protectors of the dharma. And for some of them, it's like you're their mark. They need to protect somebody specifically, which I think is you. And potentially I'm hearing like you and yours, like you, your kids, your, the things that are important to you, like your clubs or your groups, or like they need to flip, they need to be protectors of this. And this is going to be difficult because these people have stood against. And so it's not going to be easy. It's for them to flip, but some of them need to. And some of them have, okay? Because I'm seeing, so again, I just want to make that very clear. These like energies and the energies that have been coerced and complicit and cooperating with demonic energy, actually demonic energy, and hosts I'm hearing like for this demonic energy, they need to flip in whatever way that is. They need to make a choice. They need to have a conversation. It's like there's something Libran. They need to, and it's not necessarily with you, I'm getting either. Some of these people want you. They want to, they're having this reckoning. They're coming to terms. This is like the people who are the least bad, you know, and they're realizing what they did to you specifically, right? But for some of them, it's like they need to cut off. This is required, absolutely required, because they've made it so steep, some of these people, for them to like really turn around because they've just been complicit for so long, and I'm hearing brain dead. They just like deaded themselves. They were just brain dead. They were just kind of going along with whatever this was. Like, I don't know. There could be drugs involved for some of these people, or alcohol, or just a toxic family system where I just saw a Patrick Teahan post today where he said the more toxic a person is within a family unit, the least likely that they are to be confronted or like called out directly by that family system. They're usually moved around because everybody secretly kind of knows that person is like toxic. So anyways, these people may need to break off certain relationships. They may need to go to court. They may need to have certain conversations with certain people in order to even the scales. Some of these people may need to take certain people to court, potentially on your behalf. because they didn't offer up some kind of like information that you could have taken somebody to court, right? So all of this is being required in order for some of these people to kind of flip. And I do feel, this is what I'm saying, like there's been a chain of events that has been put in motion. And take this on scale, because I know this all sounds like very dramatic, but I'm hearing the truth is stranger than fiction, baby. The truth is stranger than fiction. And try to look at this through a pragmatic lens, okay? But this is for those of you who are like, I know that I'm not living my karmas. I know that I'm not living the benefits of my karma, right? Because I know that I have very positive karma, and it's because you've been you have actively turned yourself over to the divine energy to be used in this way, to have your energy capped and cloaked in the Kali Yuga, because it didn't ping any of like the energetic, like you came in with your hands tied behind your back, or you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back, kind of a thing, so that it's dulling your energy signature so that you don't draw attention on a spiritual level, so that you're not like rallied against on a spiritual level. And so your energy has been steadily growing and growing. So like, capped your energy, or they cloaked your energy. But all of this is a part of like, I'm hearing Archangel Michael, like the plan of like flipping the earth back to the light. And there's all kind of beings that are involved in this too, is like what they're showing me, like I'm hearing like angelic beings. So they're showing me like certain, I think this is where you come from. There's like connection here to like divine angelic beings on your side, and where it's like, no, we don't get involved in human business. They're kind of showing me like the elves from Lord of the Rings. But they're showing like if they can tip the earth energy here on this planet, it's going to have like wide reaching reverberations. I don't really get into that stuff much. Okay. I think it's interesting, but I don't put much stock in it. You know, I like to just deal with kind of what's in front of me. A very pragmatic person. But yeah, like I am getting this, and I'm loyal to the messages that I give, and I'm realizing like I need to clear my throat chakra, sitting here in my blue. Yeah, like I need to just be the channel for the messages and not judge the messages that are coming out. And I feel like some of you need this in order to heal. You need to look at this through a spiritual lens, or spiritual, I'm hearing it's protection for you, but it's also helping you understand that actually you think that all this happened to you because you are weak, when in reality, you volunteered to come in and maybe to be vulnerable, or whatever, in order to, because you were courageous, because you were strong, because of your love energy, because you believe that everybody deserves their shot. And I'm hearing like when you came in, you were told to choose the souls that you wanted to redeem, the souls that you believed in, that you had like a connection to. Some of you have literally a connection to. You chose them. You said, I believe in them. So you taking your power back is saying, I no longer believe that person is redeemable. I no longer, at least, like, I'm not saying you have to say this overall, that you're making that's not what I'm saying. Your energy, you are acting on behalf of the divine by agreeing and allowing, even though these people do not qualify to be in your energy. Karmically speaking, they do not qualify to be in your energy. So you are agreeing, and you are saying, I will interact with these people on a relationship level because I believe that they can be saved. I believe that they can flip. I believe that they can be protectors of the dharma. I believe that they can be redeemed. The moment that you say, that's unforgivable, that's actually unredeemable, because there's something about you, okay, where for somebody to hurt a hair on your head or to be complicit while others do it, that is the lowest of the low. It's the worst of the worst. It is the deaf, dumb, and blind on a spiritual level. They have to be. They have to be cutting themselves off from the truth energy, from the God energy, to a point where there's nothing anybody can do for them, because they're just so cut off from it. So that's going to put a different like spin on whatever's happening here when you make that decision. So take your power back. And if there's people here where it's like certain things have been coming to light, I'm hearing this is like why, like, you can ask certain, you can pray, and like you will actually receive certain answers or something. So like really do pay attention. But I think that you are Isis. Like I was saying, it's like, it's divine feminine energy. And Isis, I'm picturing her holding the Libran symbol of relationship. And she is the key to renewing Osiris, right? This is like very twin flame, that is kind of going on here. Somebody here who could have been tricked. So that's kind of what I'm getting. I do think that there's like particular people, and you have a strong love bond like with these people. They could be anybody in your life. This could be like, I'm strongly getting like a love interest and a father. And you kind of came in, and it's for this person to kind of turn a tide within themselves and actually to be renewed here, because they were taken in by something false and something chaotic and something that will be the death and the destruction of them. And for some, they just aligned themselves against you, and they aligned themselves with the wrong energies. So when that occurs, it's like back from whence they came. Some of these people, it's like they're not allowed to incarnate on the earth plane maybe ever again, or because there's other ways for them to work through their karmas is what I'm getting, and they just might be not allowed to come here anymore, because you can grow exponentially spiritually, like living a human life. You can also tank it pretty exponentially, and some of these people are really trying to do that. Or convince others to do that. Or it's like just during the age of Aquarius, because during golden ages, because higher vibrational beings will incarnate during golden ages, like as a vacation, as like something fun, because that's just, what they do. So to be around that, it changes the peer pressure on a soul level. So again, you can, for the souls that have not like obtained like enlightenment, or they don't have to, that don't incarnate or don't have to incarnate, they can really speed up the speed of which they're burning through their karmas, because the peer pressure is different here on the planet. And the people who are in positions of power and in control of things, those are high vibrational beings. And so falling in line with things actually helps you clear a lot of karma. So it's a privilege. And that's what I'm saying. You are the golden ticket. And so these people are going to look back, or it's going to be shown to them either in this lifetime or after they've passed on, that God was more than fair. God was always giving them a chance to redeem themselves. That God was very nice. God didn't come in here like that God force energy, that Christ consciousness energy did not come in here to step on anybody, to just judge people right off the bat, to just like, it was really an outstretched hand the whole time until it wasn't. And the only reason that it wasn't is because of their actions and their associates and their associations and their choices. Their bad choices. They have fallen prey to their own bad choices. But I am seeing here, they're showing me like there's been a chain of events sent into motion, and I'm seeing like a chain, and I'm seeing like people, there's like a chain, I don't know, it's like for this to kind of go on, people have to be complicit. And I know those of you who have grown up in narcissistic family systems, you know that people have to be complicit. People have to not call out bad behavior. Somebody here has found their own freedom, and they've not you, okay? Because you're the bait. You're something different. You're like the bait dog or something. But like somebody here has like found their own freedom, and they are breaking their own chains. And again, I think this has to do with Libra and energy. So it's like they are going to court. They're ending relationships. Some of them, it's like marriages. They're ending their associations, business ties. They are taking these people to court. And they're taking the hit because they need to. So some of these people stand to lose a lot, but they need to. They need to come back down to earth is what I'm hearing. They need to give back. I'm hearing give to Caesar what is Caesar, give to God what is God's. Give to the devil what's of the devil. And realign yourself with God. Like this is, and I'm hearing to sacrifice is to make sacred. So you have, I think, put yourself in a sacrificial position. You were hopeful that people would not turn their back on you or something. But these people need to respond in kind. It's not an easy twist if it was like, because these people don't deserve that is what I'm hearing. Like, not that, deserve is a weird word, but it's like they've behaved so badly. Like actually these person's actions, choices, behaviors, the conversations that they had or did not have, this has been heinous. It's been heinous. And some of these people, it has been unforgivable from your perspective. And I'm hearing Kesha in my mind, some things only God can forgive. So if you put this back in the hands of God, I'm hearing God say to them, you and I are going to have a conversation later that you will not enjoy. Yeah. Because you are the easy way. You're the nice way. So there's been a chain of events placed into motion here. So some of these people, it's like because one person's breaking free, other people are starting to break free. Because one person said it was messed up the way you were treated, other people are starting to turn their back on, like, I feel like there's a nasty, bad person. And they're getting like called out. And for those of you where something criminal has gone on, I feel like somebody here could have like flipped and like ratted certain people out. And they are, I feel like the only reason I'm getting this message is because it's in the bag. Like something here is like in the bag. They have maybe been like a double agent, or they've been like, again, like this is the more extreme end of these things. And they've caught people on recording saying certain things or doing certain things. And it's all going to come down on this person's head is what I'm hearing. Like this person's head, the person who was causing trouble for you, either directly to your face or taunting you or behind the scenes. And somebody who strong divine soulmate did align themselves with. When I said that, I heard lie. They fell for the lie, or they were partaking in the lie or furthering the lie or something like that. So, yeah. So this was a big one. This is a part, like, something like beyond your control. And again, like this isn't to tell you to like get arrogant or big-headed about any of this. Again, I don't think the people that I'm speaking to and that this message is coming through for, I don't think that you are in danger of that. I think that I'm hearing chicken soup for the soul. Like, I think you're in need of that, in need of reassurance that all of this was actually for something, and that I'm hearing as promised, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm hearing signed, sealed, delivered, as promised. Nobody who has harmed a hair on your head is going to get off scot-free, and there's nothing you need to do about it. This isn't vigilante justice. This is like, turn this over. So your task now is to heal, is to give back what is not yours. Somebody dumped their baggage towards you. They dumped their baggage on you, something they needed to work out within themselves. They took some kind of underhanded action towards you that made you feel responsible. And you need to give that energy back to them. It's also, that's what's going to be what draws like the karma back to them. You need to cut certain cords. You need to be reminded of who you are by like having like communities like this. And like, we are all going to sing each other back to life. That's what I'm hearing. We are all going to sing each other back to life, remind each other who it is that we are. I'm hearing we all came in here holding hands, like energetically just holding hands, like be strong. Like we knew we kind of had to be isolated, but we were never isolated in spirit. And I'm hearing it was your sisters, and keep in mind some of us are men, some of like these people I'm talking about, but in spirit, it's like our sister, like we had a pool, like we were always drawing on each other's energy to be strong in the midst of struggle and things like that. And we know that like we are a spiritual family that's like coming together here. And so I'm hearing, know that, lean on that, know your own strength, know your own bravery, know that you are led by the actions of love, and that you have been taken care of exactly the way that you said that you were to be taken care of. So this is about turning this over to spirit. It's about genuinely cleansing like your energetic auric field. But I think a lot of you have already I'm hearing like you're on the last little bits of it. You've already made progress here, which is why it's been put into motion in a different way. But I think, when you say, look, I'm not, you don't even have to say like, look, I think this person's unredeemable. It's like, I do not want to see this person in any future lifetimes. If you stick the landing on that, if you're like, I am done, I'm done. Those are it's putting things in motion, a chain of events. But I think there's something corresponding on a physical level that you may not be aware of, is that somebody else here has like gotten their freedom, and it's put a domino in motion that's going to topple everything, or like certain things are going to be coming to light, or certain people are going to be able to piece together like certain dominoes, and things that don't seem like they're connected actually are connected. I think this has been true in your experience, but maybe people, places, and things that seem like they're not connected, they actually are connected. And or something here, even if it's on like an energetic level of like you kind of confronting like fears that bully you, inner fears that bully you. So I think some of you, I'm also hearing that you were an example for this masculine test, especially if you came in here in a female body, because I'm hearing you basically doing a masculine test, which I think some of you have done. So like some of these energies in these readings can be flipped. It's like, that it's true for somebody here, but you also know that maybe this person was a part of your masculine test, like for your own masculine side. But if you're undergoing masculine test in a feminine vehicle, it's like you're taking a masculine test with one arm behind your back. And there's something energetically about this where you're just out showing these people. You're like, as a woman, more of a man than these people have been. You are stronger than these people have been. And you're doing it like, like with one hand tied behind your back, and like with your energy capped, and with people disrespecting you. It's like you're showing people how to actually be respectable, or how to actually do something here. You're showing the real way. You're showing spirit's way. And it's aligning. Some people are coming in alignment, just seeing you live the right way. Because some of these people, it's like they're so broken or so fragile energetically, like they just can't trust their own strength or their own power or something here like that. So, you've been outshining these people. Like there's something energetically where it's like, I don't know. I think they're just going to bury these people. Like, after their death, like when they're just kind of reviewing, it's like they are going to be shown that they were been given every single opportunity to make the right decision and didn't. And then they're going to be shown your energy of like despite having to take on all this extra baggage that all these negative, nasty people potentially have dumped on you, I'm hearing Maya Angelou, still I rise. Still I rise. And that's going to be quite a shock to it's also an education. I'm hearing preach it, teach it. It's an education. You're providing an education, and it's way more than just the words that come out your mouth. And a lot of these people did this for very superficial reasons. They wanted position, they wanted power, status, even within a family unit. It's like they wanted, to compete with you, to be seen in the light they knew that you should be seen in. Or they wanted to, take family relationships, or at work, it's like they wanted the promotion, or they wanted you to seem dumb, or they, like, whatever this is, okay? Like, they did it for very hollowed out reasons, which is why that's the way that their life, some of these people could be having health problems. Something here is hollowed out on the inside because they're hollowed out on the inside. So their businesses are hollowed out from the inside. There could be theft within some of these businesses where like something's being like drained or hollowed out here. And it's like the structure still looks like it stands. So for some of these people, it's like they look like they don't have a health issue or something, but then it's just going to like, right. Or like this business looks like it's standing and that it's, profitable or whatever. And then all of a sudden one day it's just going to, I don't know what this is, but it's like all these people manifest is things that look stable on the outside, but are actually very hollowed out on the inside. And for some of you, that's the chain of events that has been put into place here, where maybe I'm like, okay, say, I know this is an extreme example, but it's like, say this is like some kind of criminal activity, right? So it's like somebody knows that somebody ratted, and so everybody's going to turn on each other, but it's like everybody's trying to like stuff stuff in their bag before they like take off, because everybody's got to like distance themselves from whatever this was, okay? So it's going to cause them turning on each other, and they all know whoever flips first gets the best deal, gets the da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, it's this high stakes sort of scenario, but that's also what's causing something here to hollow out. So I'm hearing pay attention to the structures and the people and the places that are being hollowed out here, because that's all they can manifest is something hollowed out. And some of these people, it's like they were allowed to build because that's, I'm hearing this is how karma works. Like when you take the deal of the devil, right? Like the devil will say, do this, this, and this, and I will give you all of this. Well, that is a binding contract, so they will get all of that. The second they get all of that, though, well, the contract didn't say what happened after that, because the devil does not have prolonged reign over the universe or you or soul's journeys. It's spirit, it's God. You can only ever use that free will for just momentary bits of time. This is why it's like not wise. Okay, so the devil's like, I'll give you this, this, and this. And as soon as they get all of that, then the devil's like, well, my work here is done. And then God comes in and goes, get that out of here, and just knocks it down. And they're like, I was tricked. And it's like, absolutely, you were tricked. And then God gets the blame. God, or like, looks like the bad guy, but God didn't want you to do that. You needed to follow suit. You needed to have like the fortitude, the wherewithal, the strength from within in order to follow suit. And these people just couldn't do it. These people just couldn't do it. That's what I'm hearing. They just couldn't do it. And I'm hearing they're watching a real man. And I think the real man is like you. They're watching a real man, know how it is done. Also, these people, there's something about it where it's like they have to divorce themselves from the physical. Okay, so it's like there's people, places, and things that they thought were exemplary, and it's just because of what they seem to have on the physical. Again, all of this is like hollowed out. It's empty. It's all empty. Okay, so, but they're like, whoever is teaching this, I'm hearing it's like a child. It's like their child is more of a man than they are. Like, how embarrassing. The fucking shame, right? Like, somebody here is like, they are in a lower position, but they're going to have to flip on that. They're going to have to acknowledge that they're like Akasha. They're going to have to acknowledge the existence of like advanced beings. They're going to have to acknowledge that you cannot look directly at a person and see their worth or value. And they're going to have to realize that they threw you under the bus for some cheap shit, some absolute cheap shit. And all of this is happening to these people right here and right now. But the truth about you is being told, is what I'm hearing. It's being unearthed. The truth of who all of these people are. And again, take this on whatever scale. This could just be going on in your family, but the truth will set you free. I'm hearing the truth I think you freed yourself, and then it's like set the truth in motion, because you have like actually on an energetic level severed yourself so completely where it's like, I don't give a shit what happened to these people. And that's what's kind of calling this forward. So anyways, I know this was a strange message. Very strange one. It's not for everyone, but hopefully that will answer some questions that you have about why. Who, what, when, where, why is what I'm hearing. And it's giving you, I'm also hearing like forensically, you can kind of go back. Isis, you're very good at this. Some of you are like really, really good problem solvers, or like you're really, really good at like kind of piecing things together. This could have been underestimated or overlooked in you, like how with it you are. And just, I think how gifted and talented you are on a lot of levels was overlooked or tried to be swept under the rug by certain particularly devilish human beings. Because whoever was, there's like an orchestrator of these things. People who are trying to hide your light, people who are trying to sweep your energy under the rug because they knew you were a truth teller. They knew that you had messages, and if they were to leave your energy alone, and if they were to let the character that you had built for yourself stand, if they were to leave the truth well enough alone, and as we know, God is truth. So if they were to leave God alone, this person has rivaled themselves against God, against the truth, and against you. Like, you are just kind of like, as a result of that, because you just build in tandem with the truth. You built your character the way that you did. So if they just knew that if they left you alone in that way, that nobody would believe, everybody would believe them, they would have to get their just desserts. They would be held accountable. Either they wouldn't get a relationship that they wanted, they wouldn't get a business deal that they wanted, they wouldn't get legally, they could be legally held accountable here. They knew that, so they had to circumvent that. And the truth would have led to those outcomes. So they're not going to outrun those outcomes, is what I'm hearing. They're not. In some way, Spirit's going to get them, or has already gotten them. But this feels very close to me, like very close. So, and if you get this message, pay attention to that. Like if you get this message and then something happens, Spirit is like, they're trying to give you another message that they've always been talking to you. They've always been telling you ahead of time, or they want you to know about this ahead of time, and then it happens. So you know that you were never left alone, and so that you know you were always guided and spoken to. And like whatever needed to happen is like, as soon as I'm watching somebody sign ink on a contract, as soon as the ink is dried, like you're pulled out of there. Not even as the ink is dried. So as soon, like, yes, people may have hurt you, but I think you need to know, like, you were really spared from a lot. It could have been so much worse. It could have been a lot worse, is what I'm hearing in some of these cases. So it's like you found out right in the nick of time, or they pulled you. So go back forensically, because I think I've given you a lot of information here, and they're saying if you go back forensically, Isis, and you kind of piece all these together, you can kind of know who is who and what is what. So if you have experiences in your life where it's like, that was weird, like that person, I thought we were going to start something together, and then that person just got yanked from my life, or I thought that I was going to go in this direction, and all of a sudden I got moved in that direction, and you didn't really know because it felt like it was for you. It felt like a soulmate kind of an energy because that was put in you, that investment energy, in order to engage with these certain souls and businesses. Like it's souls for sure, but I think it's also like businesses or projects and creative endeavors or something. It's like you were kind of it was like put in you to feel that like vibe, like, no, I want to work with you. I see the value in this. I want to try to redeem this. So like I'm hearing that's another thing. It's like Spirit, like a lot of people think that the energy was just going to challenge the devil and it was going to be this head-to-head kind of a thing. No, Spirit reached out to these businesses, creative projects, ideas, and they said, install my acolyte. Install my acolyte. My acolyte is CEO. It's their vision that's now going to take the reins of this. I'm not going to knock it down. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to use it for good. That's what Spirit does. So Spirit was going to do that on a lot of different levels. So these people who are not taking these deals, who are disrespecting acolytes that are meant to be installed in certain places, and ousting like the negative energy, the corrupted energy, those are the energies that are going to fall. Those are the energies that are going to be hollowed out from within, because some of these people are going to find out that the vice presidents or the people that they were partnered with are actually two-faced, and they're not. They were stealing behind the scenes, or they were also turning away like the positive talent. So it's, again, this withering on the vine. It's this hollowing out. That's what I'm talking about, this hollowing out on a lot of levels. And potentially this is also a family situation, family lines I'm hearing that are withering or dying out. Nobody comes home for family Christmas anymore because it's just so corrupt. Nobody wants to be around this person, because the person that they married or the person that they keep around them is just so awful. Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to be around it, That's what I mean by being hollowed out. It's like on a lot of levels. So you can kind of go back through and debrief with yourself and understand like, oh, that's exactly what's going on. But also as certain things happen, it's like you're going to be like, oh, like I know exactly what's going on. You are gifted this knowledge because you were an acolyte, because you were a person who came in here. I'm just hearing this is your birthright. This is your knowledge. This is your knowledge is what I'm hearing. Like you were the one who like gave Spirit these data points. So this is knowledge that you have access to. I'm hearing Akasha. So for those of you, I think you're tapped into the Akashic records, or you will be. Because for some of you, it's like, there's something about this that really did cement your partnership with Spirit. And to where you will be blessed. And there's nothing you have to do in order to receive this blessing. It's just coming in for you, because again, they're just saying a chain of events has been placed into motion that you might not see clearly, you might not understand like the way that all this is really connected, but it is, and you'll be taken care of. And I'm hearing thank you, and I'm just feeling a big, big hug. And I do feel ancestral energy around you here at this time, and they're gathering like right at the back of your heart and like kind of all around your heart. So you can tap into that. They're focused on heart healing. is what I'm hearing, because these people really took a shot at your heart, because it's like the living creative center of your body. It connected you with the relationships, your soulmate relationships that you were meant to have, or your creative designs or projects. Some of you, I'm hearing like you could have had creative projects that were like taken from you by these people who I'm hearing they don't have a creative bone in their own body. Like they tried to steal something from you. Like there's something of your heart that was, or multiple things that was like kind of severed. And also people were trying to obscure the energy of your heart, the energy signature of your heart, which is actually very strong. And I'm looking right at a green ornament on my Christmas tree that's like reflecting light. So there's people who love you that are being brought around, soul family that are being brought around. So we were all kind of isolated and kept from each other, but now we're going to be intermingling. Maybe some of us like in this group, but like I think like you're just going to be coming into contact more and more with your soul tribe, because you've severed these other, and because this, I'm hearing the time of healing is nigh. Like it's time, the turning of the tide. So it's like, it feels to me like all the work is done. And then this is just, certain things are just going to be shifting and moving. Yeah, I'm hearing like the sands are shifting under certain structures and stuff. Like it's already just happened. It's just like, we're just going to be watching things kind of fall and crumble. And we're going to be watching new little buds kind of sprout up. These little creative endeavors or projects or seeds or something. And these are the people and the places and the creative projects and the businesses and whatever that's going to grow into Jupiterian energy, right? Yeah, like of the age of Aquarius, of the golden age. Because either they're going to overclaim structures that have already been built and make them stronger and more robust and just get them right oriented and right aspected, and clean up their messes and stuff. Or they are going to have it tumble and have it fall. And I think you are a part of that. And I'm meant to remind you who you are and why you're here, and that you are a part of it, and to look at this on a soul level. And that's the true level. So, and I'm hearing like a lot of you want this to make sense on a mundane level. You want to ask mundane questions of, in order of, why, like, but it's on a soul level that it actually makes sense. So even though like for me, I find this incredibly uncomfortable to talk about, because I'm like, I don't know, is this true? There's no way of verifying it, and because I come up from like a scientific, like psychology. It really has affected me because it is like a science. It is a scientific field, but it's a soft science, and so it has this like little man syndrome of, well, what's the evidence? What's the this? Like, only take this if it resonates, of course, and like only like certain people who are drawn into this. I feel like this is going to be some kind of powerful or impactful message for those of you who need to hear it, because it's going to really deeply resonate with your soul, and it's going to make a lot of things like make a lot of sense. Because I think you knew. I just want to keep coming back to this point. I think you knew that you were not receiving your karmas. And I think it confused you. And it contributed to the mirroring. And I'm also hearing like your sacrifice needed consequences. Like you feeling low, you being isolated, you weeping the tears that you had, you actually processing and transmuting like whatever has gone on here, like you actually doing that is what makes there be emotional consequences. These people are going to have to go through what you went through. They're going to have to experience what you have experienced. And I'm hearing there's no such thing as these people being sorry now, unless their actions, you've been running your mouth and it'll match your actions, right? So they have to fix that Libran energy, right? They need to break off relationships. They need to cut off business ties. They need to stop receiving money from people who are treacherous, is what I'm hearing. They need to cut themselves clean. Regardless of how difficult that struggle is. Like, this person has put other people in difficult positions, and then they want to turn around and cry wolf, or like, cry victim whenever they're being asked to sever themselves from the entities and the energies and their own selfishness that has caused them to turn around and harm others. Nobody feels bad for you, is what I'm hearing. Nobody feels bad for you. It's actually nice. It's very kind that we're giving you an opportunity to clean yourself up and to join the winning team, is what I'm hearing. To join the proper team, the winning team. But they do need to do it. They will walk every step back. Every lie that they told about you, believed, coddled, every person that they held, kissed, coddled, while throwing you under the bus, either through overlooking you or neglecting you or whatever excuses that they had, none of that is taken on a spiritual level. It was obvious. From a spiritual level, it was obvious the whole time who you were and who these other people were. It was obvious the whole time. It was get in line with it or don't. Nobody cares that this person was like falling prey to their own delusions, is what I'm hearing, or believing in things that they knew. Like, that's what I'm saying, is like, these people knew they were wrong. They knew it was false. Whatever, they knew it was false. Either what they were saying about you or what they were believing about you or let others say about you. I'm hearing certain things went unchallenged, certain things went unchecked. And that could even mean coming to you and having a conversation that they knew that you deserved. They knew you deserved to have that. or giving you some kind of piece of the puzzle that they knew that you deserve to have. So that being said, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for joining in. This was a bit of a weird one for me. I have other readings that are going to be coming out. I'm taking a couple weeks off, but I have readings coming out that I think are going to back this up, because it's kind of like what put some final like pieces together for me, where I'm kind of having all this kind of culminate. So anyways, that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. I do feel like we're walking this out together. Like we're somehow like bound together, and we're going to transmute this. We're going to turn all this negative energy like together, like the turn of the tide. So yeah, there's something going on here, and I'd just like for you to be a part of it. If you are not, if you are a patron and you do support the work that I do, this is a win for all of us, and I hope that you feel a part of this. And I just want to say thank you for your tangible, actual like support in a financial way, in that, because I couldn't do what it is that I do in the way that I do. I think it's very clear to me that when I'm relaxed and I don't have to worry about certain things, like energy just flows through me, messages just flow through me in a way that they don't otherwise. And that a lot of that is because of you. Like thank you for investing in me. Thank you for building that karmic tie with me, and with everybody who receives from this as well, from this space. Thank you so much for supporting what like we are trying to do here. Couldn't do without you. So, bye.